majestic, isn't it? I'm Diana. I'll take you to your quarters.
Someone likes to keep secrets.
Hey everybody, welcome to Play, Rank, Share, the show where I play the marquee PlayStation 5 titles, create an ever-evolving ranking of the best PlayStation 5 games, and share my opinions with you. My name is Tyrus, and this episode is focused on Hitman 3. Stealth games have never been my cup of tea, but seeing the pre-release materials for Hitman 3 had me excited. I think the Hitman series has flown under the radar the past few years, but a slow start to this console generation has Hitman 3 being the most notable game launching in the early stages of 2021. It's also important to note that developer IO Interactive published this game independently, a feat that is rarely seen in the AAA game space. I'm sure it must have been difficult self-publishing a big release in the middle of a pandemic, and IO Interactive should be applauded for successfully bringing the game to market with no known delays. Hitman 3 has you playing as Agent 47 for the conclusion of what IO Interactive has described as the world of Assassination Trilogy. Story does not play an important role in this game. There are only about 10 cutscenes in the game, and the levels are not linked in a large, meaningful way. I did not play the first two games in this trilogy, but did not feel left out on any story arcs that may have been present in the two prior games. The story that is loosely told through this game is pretty straightforward. This game feels like a process perfected. There is nothing that stands out and screams innovation to me, but it is a quality crafted stealth game. The levels are so vast that I found them overwhelming at first. In the game's first level, set in Dubai, I was traversing the 5 different floors and had no idea what to do. Luckily, the game has story missions you can discover that help guide you through the maps and learn the layout of each level the first couple times you play. The magic in Hitman 3 is that you can avoid the story missions altogether, but the objective stays the same. You need to assassinate one or multiple targets and then leave the map. In this game, you are given free reign on how to accomplish your objectives. There are always a multitude of different ways that you can attack your targets. With this creativity, Hitman 3 acts like an open sandbox. Each of the 6 levels took me between 30 minutes to an hour and a half to beat on my first try. The game then gives you an overview of the different challenges you accomplished during your playthrough, and there are dozens for each level. It then gives you information about the time it took you to beat the level and the score you received for your performance. Additionally, there is a worldwide leaderboard for how other players fared in the level. The arcade high score chasing and speedrun component helps make Hitman 3 a competitive community experience despite being a single player game. These structures are in place to make each level highly replayable. I wanted to jump back into missions after completing them to see other story missions or follow through on an idea I had but didn't want to risk ruining my current run. From stabbing a target through the eye with a ballpoint pen to drowning someone as they are yakking into a toilet because you poisoned their drink, there are limitless ways to creatively take out targets in Hitman 3. Each level in Hitman 3 has unique qualities to make them stand out, but I do want to give a special shout out to the Dartmoor level. This level contains a story mission where you pose as a private investigator and must solve a murder case for your target. This level was clearly inspired by Knives Out and was an utter joy to play. With a half dozen potential suspects, I enjoyed interviewing each one and double checking their alibis by discovering clues around the mansion. Out of the 6 levels in Hitman 3, I found this one to be the most engaging and by far my favorite level. The stealth gameplay in Hitman 3 feels great. As someone not accustomed to this style of game, I had to ease my way into it, at first slowly moving through crowds to get close to my target and waiting for the right opportunity. As the game progressed, I grew comfortable pinpointing what types of disguise would help me the most and determining how to acquire it. I did notice over time that the AI did not seem extremely intelligent. They might notice a knocked out body somewhere on the map, but they would quickly lose interest if I did not do anything else to raise suspicion after a couple of minutes. I did play through the game on the standard difficulty, so maybe this is something that doesn't happen when you're playing on hard, but I don't know. Keeping a low profile is practically essential because if you start gaining a gunfight, it's likely you'll be overwhelmed quickly. The shooting mechanics did not feel superb to me, but since the emphasis on this game is remaining hidden, I didn't think it was a big detriment to my experience. In terms of graphics, I do not think Hitman 3 is the most standout game, with Demon's Souls and Spider-Man Miles Morales looking more impressive. Hitman 3 does have impressively crafted landscapes that make the layouts of each level look great. However, I thought the character models looked particularly rough at times, especially the NPCs. One level has Agent 47 traversing through a nightclub with hundreds of NPCs crowded into some room. While it was impressive to have that many characters on the screen, I did not think they looked good. The animations on these characters also appeared really rough and simple to me. I think having to develop this game for the PS4 did hold the game back in the graphics department, which I fear is going to be a trend we notice throughout 2021. While Hitman 3 was a fun experience, I do not foresee it being a game that cracks my personal Game of the Year shortlist for 2021. The game is a little too open for my personal preferences, but I do think it will end up as a Game of the Year contender on some of the major video game media outlets at the end of the year. The main campaign takes about 8 hours to finish if you only play each level once, and there's plenty of incentive to go back and replay the levels over and over and over again, trying new tactics and accessing story missions you cannot play your first time through. While nothing stands out about Hitman 3 that feels like a next-gen game, I did thoroughly enjoy my time with Hitman 3. The murder mystery level Dartmoor stands out and is one of my favorite experiences with a PlayStation 5 game so far. Hitman 3 is proof that a big-budget stealth game can still thrive in the new generation, and I think it is a great game and give it a score of 8 out of 10. When it comes to ranking Hitman 3, this was an easy decision for me. I am ranking Hitman 3 at number 4 on my list of best PlayStation 5 games. While it doesn't shine like the early PlayStation Studios offerings ranked above it, I do think Hitman 3 has immense value in it. Each level is unique from the others, and you can spend hours on every one completing all the different challenges. I think if you are in the market for a PlayStation 5 and somehow can find one, Hitman 3 would be a great game to initially pick up with a console. Thank you for watching this episode of Play, Rank, Share. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when future episodes are released. The next reviews will be on Destruction All-Stars and Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. If you want to see gameplay of Hitman 3, make sure you check out our early impressions of the game on our show, The Gamer Seat. What are your thoughts on Hitman 3? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, don't stop sharing.
And just maybe, look towards the future. 37. It's time.